You really think I regret buying all this stuff? Yeah, I do.
Give it to you. Wait for you to get it on your own.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into the Extreme channel. I'm Mr. X, and a lot of this channel is about these extreme collectibles. Now, I've been doing this for about 10 years now, believe it or not. Not the YouTube itself, but actually collecting. And if you want to know how I got into it, watch this journey of collecting that I recorded years ago. And I've done a bunch of videos for you guys. Hey, this is the top 10 things to do and not to do in collecting. 10 reasons I wish I hadn't started. And overall, if you ask me, do you regret it? I absolutely do. So while these still have value, I've probably lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. While I truly do enjoy collecting and I enjoy these collectibles, whether it's statues or comics or autographs, if I could do it over, would I even do it? The answer is probably no. But let's say that I decided I wanted to do it and be a little bit smarter about it. That's what this video is. What would I do differently? And there are definitely some lessons I learned the hard way. And trust me, you don't want to go the hard way.
Hey, that's what she said.
So this is a countdown. I've got 10 things in no particular order that I would have done differently when it comes to collecting, specifically statues. But there's a little bit of mix over with the comics. So number one, believe it or not, I do this YouTube channel. I've talked about it so many times in so many different videos as a hobby. I really enjoy doing the YouTube channel almost more than collecting. But I wouldn't have started the YouTube channel because of collecting. That's the first thing. And here's a few reasons why. Yes, it's true. I bought some collectibles simply because I had the YouTube channel. So really a big waste of money. And sometimes those collectibles were very short-lived. Like they were literally in my collection for 3 to 6 months. And if I didn't have the YouTube channel, I probably wouldn't have bought them. The second negative part about this number one thing I would have done differently is I raced and didn't enjoy the collectibles sometimes. Now things are different. I enjoy the collectibles first, and the YouTube channel comes second. However, for a long time, it was more about the YouTube channel. I would literally unbox something as fast as I can, review it as fast as I can, and post it and not even enjoy the collectible itself. And number three, I've exposed myself, not in a sexual predator type way, but I've exposed myself and my family, and I don't like that. While I've met some amazing people, is it worth it? Not sure. So that's the number one thing. A lot of layers to that. The number two thing, when I look at collectibles, a lot of people talk about lines or genres, intellectual properties, whatever you want. I've owned, I think at one time, I've had about 25 different intellectual properties. So what I mean is I had X-Men, and I had horror, and I had Predator and Alien, and MCU, and Life Size, and Bus. So I had all these different lines. And even if you have a ton of space and money, you can't collect them all. So I would have limited myself to 5 genres at the most. And I did a quick count of how many genres I have right now in my collection. I have 11. So it'd be even half of what I have now. And for the record, if you're new to the channel, I probably have about 1/4 the collection I used to have. Next thing I would have done differently, I would have bought one of each character. I would have never bought more than one of each character. You know, at one time, I owned like 40 Venom statues, 50 Hulk statues, 25 Wolverine statues. The new rule would be I could buy a new version of a character I already owned, but I'd have to swap them out, sell the old one. And I would so stick to that rule across all scales. So if I have a quarter scale Iron Man, it doesn't mean I could buy a life-size Iron Man, let alone 2 like I own right now. So this one is definitely hindsight. I started selling off my collection and going in a different direction in 2022, and it was great. I would post these huge for sale videos and make tons of money. Some statues I'd be able to sell at retail, some much more, a few below retail. That was in 2022. I should have started doing that in 2020 because that 2022 wave only lasted about 18 months. And if you're in the statue collecting game, you know it is incredibly difficult to sell a statue right now at all. Even when you're selling statue for a huge loss, it's hard to sell it. So I would have started selling about 2 years earlier. Next one, when you first get into statue collecting, it's kind of this new addiction that's really fun, and you're looking at stuff all the time. You're looking at different websites. You're looking at different social media, and I was heavily involved. I would have stayed out of social media completely. And I'm not necessarily talking about YouTube, although that's part of it. Because people on social media are just nasty. They're cowardly keyboard warriors, and it just ruins your quality of life. Like right now, to be frank, within the statue collecting community, the only reason I'm still in some of these forums and groups is for the YouTube channel. While I do enjoy 90% of it, there's 10% that's just crappy. So I would have stayed out of social media. Another thing I would have done differently, I would have not pre-ordered everything. So if you're new, statues go up for pre-order and then they'll generally come out 6 to 12 months later, sometimes even longer than that, much longer sometimes. I would have never pre-ordered anything. So number one is you don't know where you're going to be when that statue arrives. So for example, I bought this Omega Red statue that I think took 4 years. Now thankfully I still collect X-Men, but I don't know if I'm going to collect X-Men 4 years from now. And second, you have no idea what shipping's going to be. I've had many times where after a 2-year wait and you've paid for the statue, you find out shipping is going to be 50% or 100% of the price of the statue. So I would not have pre-ordered everything. Yes, I would have definitely lost out on some pieces, but they make so many different statues that are great. Who cares? So I'm very fortunate. I have a lot of means, which means we don't have a budget for anything. We try and save money when we can. So for example, if I'm going to book a huge elaborate trip, I'm going to balance quality and price. But I don't say, okay, this month we can spend $400 on groceries, which nowadays would be one trip to the grocery store. I don't say, okay, I can spend $500 on statue payments. I just buy what I want. I would have set a budget. I really would have. And it could have been a quantity. Hey, Mr. X, you can only buy one statue every other month. Or you can put $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 away to statues per month. I would have done that because it is a hobby, so it makes sense to do it, even if you have the means. I would have stuck with 3 scales. Right now, I think I've owned every single scale. I've owned 1/10th scale, 1/20th scale, 1/6, 1/3, 1/4, half, life-size busts, life-size statues. I would have stuck with 3 scales, and it probably would have been life-size, 1/3, and 1/4, which I think is 99% of my collection now. Speaking of which, kind of tying into that one, the next one is I wouldn't have bought any busts. Life-size busts are awesome, but after a while, they're kind of eh. In fact, I've sold every single life-size bust I have but one, and that one's for sale. And they're amazing, don't get me wrong, but it's just weird. And then also I think I transitioned to actual life-size statues with torsos, arms, legs. Those are so much better in my opinion. Now the last one is these right here. I would not have gotten any matching slabs. So a lot of statues are based off of a comic cover. And some have comic covers that are very similar, and I think they look amazing displayed together. But the problem is comics lose value just as bad as statues sometimes, if not worse. And then also, sometimes you sell a statue. Well, you don't want that comic cover anymore. And right now, it's hard to sell a statue in general, so a lot of these covers that I paid anywhere from $100 to $500 for, some a little cheaper, I'm giving away for free with the statue that I'm losing money on, because I have no use for that cover anymore anyway. That's my 10 things. What are yours? And hopefully you learned something from that. I'd love to hear your comments below, but I appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned. We have more content coming. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Yes, we're still giving away $1,000 statues at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. You have to make sure you're subbed to the channel, you like the video, and then leave a comment. We're going to pick a random comment on a random video and give away those statues. In the meantime, check out some of these other videos and my social media. Talk to you soon. Take care.